was working security, asset protection. So I seen him on the security camera. I was like, Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, should I go? And I was like, probably not. But then a quote came into my mind, and it said, the quote goes like, discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons.
I have something inside of me and I want to put it out there into the world.
Mhm.
And you took a chance on yourself.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? You're going to be repaid 100-fold.
Yeah.
It's a given. And so it's one of those things. But that's what keeps the ether. That's what keeps the cycle going.
Mhm.
And there's more light in this world than there is darkness. As I told you, I work for the government, but I also run my own nonprofit organization. And you type in SBS or small businesses, and you'll see all the resources. You'll get plugged into their website. You got to move. You got to get out. You have to really put yourself out there in order to really see your success or for success to come to life.
What's like some of the ways that small business owners can get funded, like even the mom and pop shops or even the startup businesses? Like, how can they get funded for their business? All right, so welcome back to another episode of Motion and Success. Listen, guys, today is going to be another good episode. I got my co-host with me, Ayo.
Yes, Ayo. And yo, bro, we back with another great episode. We got two special guests.
Two special guests. And here's why this episode is going to be good. Because we're going to be talking to people that they have, how can I say it? They have the knowledge that a lot of people, that can help a lot of people, right? We bring a lot of people on, but they have the knowledge and they also have the understanding and the resources to make certain things happen. So this is another episode where Motion and Success meets Tiffany and Joshua. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourself, tell the people who you are.
Sure.
And yeah, let's get this thing cracking.
So hi everyone, I'm super excited to be on Motion and Success.
Thank you. Thank you.
My name is Tiffany Tucker Pryor. I am a community organizer, and I have the pleasure of working with this wonderful gentleman, Josh, here through our city government work.
Yeah.
But I'll have Josh introduce himself.
Yeah, I'm Josh D. I go by Josh D NYC. That's my Instagram name. And I'm a youth advocate and a cybersecurity analyst. And I'm just here to really spread the knowledge and the information, right? Because the show is named Motion and Success.
Absolutely.
You know? And like Bossman, what's his name? D-Lo?
Bossman
He
D-Lo.
was like, if you ain't got no motion, I ain't hearing it.
Okay. All right, cool, bro. You want to get started?
Yeah, I mean, them introducing themselves, it really speaks a lot of, volume, and the fact that you guys are, advocating for the youth is one aspect. But I definitely want to jump into, just how did you guys end up, collaborating and working? Because advocating for the youth in New York City is not an easy job. It's a lot going on. The youth needs a lot of direction.
Yeah.
So how did you guys end up collaborating?
Sure, I'll go. So as I mentioned before, Josh and I had the opportunity to meet through the mayor. We actually both work in government in New York City as one hat, right? As I mentioned to you guys, I'm here because I work in the community just in general, but having the opportunity to work in the city, the mayor came to me knowing that we have done some work outside of even working in the city, working in the nonprofit realm. I run a nonprofit organization as well. And he said, I met this great kid. I met this guy. You got to meet him. He has great ideas. He was talking about this guy. He was just like, Tiffany, help him. Yeah. Help him to allow his vision and his ideas to come to life, because he has a lot of great ideas to help young people. And he knew I can do the operation management piece to allow the vision to come to life. And so from then till now, what was that, 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. That's about 2 years ago.
We've been working together.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's been a very long mission.
Yes, we're rocking and rolling.
Rocking and rolling, but we're getting the job done.
Yes.
Well, that's good.
That's what matters. And, Tiffany is the backbone of things, and she makes sure it gets done. Gotta, like I said, you have the vision, but you need people to execute.
Right.
Yeah.
And she knows how to get the job done.
Wow.
And it's consistency, but you know what I enjoy about with working with Josh is that he has an idea, but he's also open to saying, okay, well, what's the best way to do this? Right. And so when you are open-minded, that's how you keep things moving. Right. And you keep things in motion. And I tell people all the time, success is longevity. I want y'all to know that it's not something, you may have some small wins in between, but you will really see the fruits of your labor and the success long term when you look back on where you've come from. So when I think about the 2 years of how we've been working this plan, in terms of getting young people engaged, the first year we were able to get at least we went up 80% because I also track. So data is very important. So I keep track. So I'm not making up these numbers, but we went up 80% in getting young people to engage with city services, engage with New Yorkers and nonprofits and all the resources that are available to them here in the city. A lot of times, as we were talking about before the show began, people just don't know.
Right.
So not knowing where the resource is, that's why it's so challenging. That's why you see young people at McDonald's all day, every day, just hanging out after school, because they don't realize that just down the block, there's a PAL, a police athletic league, or down the block, there may be a beacon, in a school where they can go play ball and get off the streets and find something engaging to do because they just see their friends at the McDonald's. So they gravitate there. Yep. But if you provide them with the resources and we're not afraid to approach young people. So that's another thing too. Like, not being afraid to say to them, hey, why don't you try this? Or have you heard about this? And just hand them some information, provide them as much resources as possible. That's what has been making the difference. I want you all to know we have to get out there and get out to the young people. That's what has made the difference. You
said something very key in it. And it kind of brings like an idea back to me personally.
Yeah.
When I was younger, middle school, high school, junior high school, I took advantage of a lot of the programs.
Good.
Like, say for example, New York City parks.
Yes.
They have summer programs. They had after school programs.
Absolutely.
And my family's from the Caribbean, so if they working 2 jobs and they working overnight, you're not gonna be in the house by yourself. Go to this after school program, and you're gonna go there on Saturdays.
Yes.
So I took advantage of a lot of it, but
not everyone did, right?
Huh?
How many of your friends you knew that were taking advantage of the same programs?
Not much. We had pizza parties. I started to learn how to swim when I was probably like in middle school because I went to St. John's Rec.
See?
Brownsville Rec too.
Yeah, right there, St. John's.
I used to go to those places when I was younger. Okay. I used to stay after school for SCSF because it was fun. And I'm hanging with my boys.
Yeah.
Easy.
So, plus we get a little food, a little snack.
Of course. Listen, the food, I call it peeling the dog food. If there is no food, the kids aren't staying. You have to have the food.
Yes, and free trips.
Yes, and the trips, right?
Exactly, the trips. And it got me to a place where now you start to get more exposed to certain things. Because now I might not want to do it if it's like a family trip. All right, cool. If I'm doing it with my friends from school, or from the program itself, I'm going to take advantage of it. Yeah. But now what I started realizing is people just want to go straight home after school. I'm like, I'm telling my nephew, I'm like, they got this thing on Pennsylvania Ave. Go to this. Do this. Start doing some. He dragging his feet, twisting his head. I don't want to do that. I'm like, dude, come on.
Tell him to bring a friend with him, and then it makes a difference. So that's why I used to tell him, like, you could bring your friend. You don't have to come alone, and it makes them feel a little more comfortable in getting acclimated. So they're open to them meeting other people once they bring a friend.
Yeah. It's definitely important for these programs. Yeah.
Now I was gonna say that definitely. The fact that I want to get back to Josh's introduction, the fact that the mayor was said good words about you, that speaks a lot. How did that come about? Like your relationship with the mayor of the city?
What's going on, my Motion to Success family? Sorry to break the interview, but I had to. I just wanted to share some information with you guys because I know there is a problem. A lot of people out here, they're struggling with their credit. They're struggling to get funding. They're struggling to close a real estate deal. They're struggling to go ahead and increase their credit score. They're struggling to remove inquiries off your profile. I have the solution for you. So now what I went ahead and did was I created an AI powered software that you can use to go out and repair your own own credit, not only your credit, but also your family members' credit if you wanted to. So the name of the system is called M2Magnate.com. This is an AI powered software that you can use that will generate all the letters for you in less than 5 minutes. And you can send out your letters throughout the software to get the results. This is the same exact system that's responsible for helping me remove negative items off my client's credit profile, my credit profile, and this is what's going to help you to get that 700 plus credit score without having to pay thousands of dollars. Go ahead and visit m2magnate.com and start working on your credit. See you guys inside the software.
Yeah, so I was working security as asset protection. And so I seen him on the security camera. And, you know, I was like, it's the mayor, you know?
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, should I go? And I was like, probably not. But then a quote came into my mind. And it said, the quote goes like, discipline weighs ounces and regret weighs tons.
Yeah.
And so from there, I'm like, I'm not going to regret not meeting him today. Yeah. And, you know, just being the person that I am, you know, some people were coming up to him to ask for pictures. And I was just like, hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. And from there, you know, we exchanged numbers and the rest is history. You know, we started working together and, you know, he really believed in me and I believed in him. You know, I didn't know much about government. You know, that was my first interaction with them. And, you know, there was so much like government buildings that I would pass by all the time, but I didn't know they were government buildings. And it's like what you're getting fed on YouTube and Instagram, they're not showing you these things. They're not showing you these places where you can interact with these people, you know? So, I was just very surprised, you know. He took me around the city and I got to meet people at City Hall, right? Like that was in one of the main buildings that I used to pass by in Manhattan all the time to my job. And I was like, what's that building? And I just never knew what was going on until, you know, I met him. So that's how everything really came about. And he introduced me to Tiffany, you know, because he started opening up doors for me. And, you know, I was like, other young people deserve, you know, this chance and this opportunity, you know, to get more involved in youth and in government. And so, you know, I started thinking of ways to get youth and young adults more involved, more activated, more excited about government, right? Because you got all these programs, right? The first program that I ever got involved in was SYEP.
SYEP
for sure.
Some youth employment program.
Facts. And
that's what DYCD.
Yeah, DYCD.
Great agency.
DYC, that's my team, man. But yeah, them, because I was like, I'm about to make some money. You know, finally I'm about to make my own money. Yeah. You know, because you know that period between like summertime where, you know, you gotta it's August and you gotta make sure you get the nicest clothes to go back to school.
That's important.
Fresh book bag, fresh kicks, spray ground book bag or something like that, you know. And I was like, I gotta get some money. And so my mom told me about SYEP. Why am I saying? Am I saying it wrong?
You said it right. SYEP.
I'm making sure. So I got signed up and I started making some money. So I was like, I didn't know that was government. So that would be my first interaction. Yeah. But I didn't know. But I knew the mayor was in government and he was in charge of the whole city.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
What matters.
It's true. It's true. So,
and he wasn't shy to share some ideas because that's what sparked the conversation.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
He just didn't introduce himself. He also said, you know, like, I have some ideas. Yeah. And then that's where the conversation began.
Wow.
Are both of you guys from New York? Born and raised in New
Born
York.
and raised.
So,
Brooklyn.
what are some things that you guys seen growing up in
Hey,
New
hold
York?
up. I was born in Miami.
Okay.
You were
I was
Miami.
like, he gotta. I'm so sorry. He didn't share that with me beforehand. I'm sorry to have brought him here.
No, I was born in Miami, but then my family moved to New York when I was like 1 year old. So
So
I've been here ever
yeah.
since.
All right,
Yeah,
we'll
yeah,
accept him
yeah,
then.
yeah.
All right.
I'm born in Brooklyn.
We was about to
I'm not from New York. I'm from Brooklyn.
Oh, this guy.
It is a big difference.
It's a difference.
It actually is a
And it
difference.
matters which area in Brooklyn.
It's
Flatbush.
Yeah.
It's true. So growing up in New York and what did you guys have growing up, like, in terms of like youth activities and things that being in the position you're in now, you're like, yo, the youth gotta have this. Like, I didn't have this growing up. Like, what are some things,
Or even better.
or like some programs that you guys incorporated that you didn't have when y'all were growing up?
So I can say I've always been in programs. That's what kept me whole, right? Brooklyn is a crazy place. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
So you can get involved in the right activities or the wrong activities. But my mom too, coming here from the Caribbean, so I'm a first generation born, was, raising us in Canarsie, working very hard. And she was just like, you know what? Go out there and be your best. That's what we got. Go out and be your best. And so there were so many different resources. My first job was cleaning graffiti off the walls, working with a nonprofit organization because they were paying kids to beautify the community. And then I fell in love with just helping my community. And it's not like it wasn't something I wasn't doing before. My mom is a minister in the church, so we've always done community work. But I think at that point, when in my house, it was like she was dragging me to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it was something different when I saw my friends and all of us. We went out and we were just like, "What?" Not a lot of people went to clean the graffiti, because young people, y'all gotta stay fly, whatever. I get it. Too cool. However, I was like, how much you paying? And at that time, you could be 13 and have your working papers. Now I think it's 14. So I think they raised the age, right, to get your working papers. But at that time, I was like 13. I was ready to make that money. So that was my first job, working with this nonprofit organization. It's called New Perspective in Canarsie. And they took as many young people who were willing to go ahead and start that program. And then from that program, the city then created a graffiti removal program. So now from that program, that's where the city created the graffiti removal program. So I want you to know that the city is open to creating programs based on if a nonprofit or youth come and advocate. So even like the programs that we're doing right now with Josh, the events that we're doing, we did the retrending event where it was young people who came out to talk about different things that matter to them. Money, finance, how can they build? A lot of young people, like y'all were saying, they don't want to do the conventional jobs anymore. Times are changing. And so it's not like my mother spent 31 years on her job, the same job.
Yeah.
I don't know any young person who stays past 2 years. I don't even know what's going on with y'all for you with your age group. You know what I mean? I'm just saying it's, this is a different time that we're living in. So it's not what it once was. But the great part is that America is still America. And what I mean by that is that you can have one degree, but you don't have to stick to that one thing. You can learn something and realize that the information that you learn is transferable. But you have to try, put yourself out there. I think we spoke about internships. Internships, I think, is the best thing for a young person to do. You're testing the waters. Test to see if you really like it. You may think you like it, but do you really like it? You won't know until you actually do the job. So I would say there's so many things that are available to our youth. And the mayor is doing so much more and even creating more apprenticeship programs. And we're partnering even with hairstylists and bringing them into the fold and creating avenues for young people to be able to realize different career pathways because there's so many different things that one can do. But if you don't try, how are you going to know?
Yeah.
Right. That's true. Yeah, I was
No, I was gonna say, like, I totally agree with that because like you said, Brooklyn is a wild place. And I grew up in a public school system, so I seen, a lot of kids, my colleagues who the path that they went on probably wasn't the best one.
Right.
And a lot of times I wasn't thinking in that way, but thinking about it, it wasn't a lot of things that they had in terms of making money. You know, some of them probably got locked up before, couldn't get a summer job.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just like, you literally had to just go the legal route to survive. So if it was more programs, you know, and things like that, could their life probably been maybe different? Probably could have been, you know. So I definitely see the impact of, you know, having those programs. That's why I said the job you guys have is not, it's really serious, because even in like the low income communities, a lot of kids that's how they fall into the wrong direction, you know. So how do you guys, you know, make sure that the generation now, the younger kids, they have those opportunities of where like they're learning financial literacy, they're, you know, it's different career paths. You know, some kids, they got personalities, they might want to be streamers, different things. How do you guys incorporate like activities for those type of kids? Because it's a lot of kids that are different, but they're all equally talented in different ways. Like, how do you guys incorporate, how do you guys collaborate with different people to bring those to the community?
Josh?
Well, I would say they got to be open-minded, like Tiffany said in the beginning, right? And the mayor is open-minded, right? Commissioners from New York City are open-minded, specifically Keith Howard, you know, very open-minded.
He's a commissioner of the Department of Youth and Community Development. That's DYCD. They're the ones who operate summer youth employment, the SYP program.
Okay.
But they've been hiring a lot of young people to come in and work. Give them ideas, give them feedback, how to relate to young people in this generation.
Exactly. And
they've been talking to this young man.
And you know, that's how we came about with We Trending, right? We Trending is an event that we did you know, to get the information out.
All right, so sorry to break the episode. This message is for any entrepreneur. You really do a good job. You're killing it at whatever you do, but no one knows you. You have no social media presence. Well, guess what? You're missing out on a lot of money. Good news is I help entrepreneurs like you grow organically on social media. No gimmicks, no ads, just authentic, strategic content that converts. And if you're a podcaster, I've got you covered as well. If you're struggling to grow your show, struggling with editing, well, I cover those services as well. It's time to stop procrastinating and take action immediately. Click the link down below and book a call with me, where we're going to sit down and talk one-on-one, and we're going to start helping you grow and create some motion and success, but more importantly, get you some leads that will convert into dollars. So what are you waiting for? Your audience is waiting for you. Let's get them to trust you. Click the link below.
Right. So a lot of my friends that I know who are YouTube influencers, right? They all came out and they're like, yo, we want to be in these rooms to get more connected and to put the information out there. So, you know, we were all helping each other, right? And these are my friends that I grew up with. So, you know, they're like, oh, it's Josh, we're going to do it for him. You know what I'm saying? And we just rocked out and we had a great time. They went around. How many programs and nonprofits was there? I think it was about like city agencies. It was
we had about 15 or 20 different nonprofit organizations, city agencies, and resources. So even though they were tabled all around the room, you know, we had over 200 young people in attendance. It was being broadcasted all across the internet from all the content creators that Josh invited. But it really showed how you can take your talents and gifts and use them for good, which is what we tell young people all the time. You may have a gift or talent, but if you're not applying it and utilizing it for good, then what's the sense of having it?
Exactly.
And that's what I love about Josh. He takes his talents and gifts and he's using it to build people up, right? Because he could be using it to tear people down. And even what you guys are doing. I'm here today, you know, because you're building people up. And this is what this is about. And I love to see, you know, my young brothers, you know, I have 2 sons myself. I want y'all to know, you know, really taking the opportunity to say, you know what happened? I have something inside of me and I want to put it out there into the world. And you took a chance on yourself. And guess what happened? You're going to be repaid 100-fold. You know, it's a given. And so it's one of those things. But that's what keeps the ether. That's what keeps the cycle going. And there's more light in this world than there is darkness. I'm not saying y'all that the darkness isn't there, you know, because they're out here. But the light, if we band together, we can overshadow that. And that's what it's about. But that's what we have to plug into our community more of. And that's something we spoke about, right? Telling people it's not about people complaining anymore.
Right.
Literally, your folks, they had their mics, they had their gadgets, you know, when it came to create the content at the event, they created their content by self. It wasn't, you know what I mean? No one had to do it for them. They didn't take the initiative to do it for themselves, they just, you know, they wouldn't be able to be there and be present and participate.
Right.
Which everyone has the opportunity to do those things now. And people are learning that. And I think that that's what's important. I think even at the event, that's what Josh wanted to show. And so we did that. And we also provided other people. We brought in other folks. We had a panel. The mayor came, you know, so there was a lot of engagement. They wanted to know more about community. We provided them resources, right? So where they learned about all the different resources, right? And this came from Josh's idea. He said he wanted young people to be able to know and understand what resources are available to them. And we did it before the Summer Youth Employment Program ended, so they could sign up for Summer Youth on the spot. That's right, come get a job this summer. You know what I mean? So the resources were there for them on the spot. They can get the information that they needed, whatever it is.
And it's about reaching young people where they are.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that, you know, I knew when I was growing up. I didn't know a lot of these resources because of the information I was consuming was on YouTube and Instagram and YouTube is not pushing these things, right? You have to go searching for that information on Instagram or YouTube to actually find it, you know, but it's very, very, very hard to find that information. And that day for We Trended, we actually got over 300,000 views across, you know, all my friends that are content creators, right? So the event was broadcasted widely. And so, you know, these new fresh ideas and meeting kids where they are on their phones, you know,
through the streamers, through the content creator, the TikTok dancers,
all of it,
all of it. Okay,
creating and that's some of the things they're talking about, like, you know, for certain initiatives, creating a dance for certain initiatives, you know, that you know, they want to push, you know, to get more young people involved, because these are great programs and we need to take advantage of these programs, right? And like some of more of my friends that I knew, you know, I got them involved, some of my content friends, I got them involved in getting their LLCs for free through the city.
Yes.
Right. And so that's because, you know, I just kept searching. Like, even though I was in the door and I'm here now, I'm like, I got to keep working. I got to keep searching, because when I was young and in their position, I didn't know like where to go, you know? And I think God just blessed me just to put me in the door and really to spread the information for everybody else.
Right. So, so as far as like some of the trends that you see, you know, with the younger folks right now, how can, like, because right now what I'm realizing is a lot of people, they don't want to do the typical jobs. Like, they don't want to work for sanitation. They don't want to work for this. They don't want to do that. They don't want to do this. Like, a lot of people want to be TikTok stars, streamers, and things like that. Like, what will be like the best advice for those younger people that they see the TikTok, they see the streaming? Like, what would you say to that?
I would say, you know, do the TikTok thing, do the YouTube influencer thing, but make sure you also have a skill that's involved in that, right? And so nowadays you'll see a lot of people having their own podcasts. I think one of the podcasts out there is called like Black is the New Tech, right? And you know, they're a cybersecurity analyst. It's this guy, I forgot his name, and you know, he's interviewing different people on cybersecurity and how they got into the field, and just, you know, get a skill. and do the TikTok, do the content creation, because the skill is very important. That can never be taken away from you.
Right.
You don't want to just be creating content and then YouTube goes down. And then look what's going on with TikTok. You know, they're about to ban TikTok. And a lot of people is not going to be making money.
Yeah.
Right? And so you want to be able to have that skill that's going to pay you no matter what shuts down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to piggyback on that. I agree 1000%. You know, as I mentioned to you guys before, I think the more skills you have, the more you can grow and build and prosper. So we were talking, you know, you all were saying what you do in addition to this. Having an in addition makes a world of a difference. There is, and in all things, you know, as I told you, I work for the government, but I also run my own nonprofit organization.
Right.
And so why? Because it also feeds you. We're multifaceted as humans. So you can be fed in different ways. And I'm not saying for you to have 6 jobs. I know the Caribbeans, you know, and I'm not telling you to work yourself to death. That's not what I'm saying, because work-life balance is important.
Very important.
However, what I am saying is that, you know, if you go to school and you learn a skill, right? And whatever that skill is, you can do that if that's going to bring you your money. But you can also then take something else, you know, if you have a hard work like this, like providing information, additional information to the community. You have your podcast, you can continue to do the podcast as well. Content creation is cool, but I also think that it's almost becoming a little oversaturated. I'm not going to lie. There's so many people in this field. So I mean, like, I want to know how y'all plan on staying fresh? You know what I mean? I mean, that's my question. There's, you know,
that's a great question. But how you want to answer?
Yeah, I mean, like in terms of saturation, I look at it, you know, content creating into creating art. So it's like 1 million people probably got a podcast, but it's down to what are you talking about the podcast and how would the world react to it. Like ours is a little bit different because, you know, like Cody was saying a little bit earlier, it's 2 young guys bringing on people with different expertise that are really, really in their field. So that's like that compared to all the other podcasts stands out, you know? So it's all about how you stand out.
The kind of value.
Yeah. And the value that you have, you know? But if you're out there doing, like you said, the TikTok dances and things like it's millions and millions of people that's doing that. So that is where the saturation really is. Because it's like, you know, it's a lot of like competition on that level, and it's just
you got to constantly like separate.
Yeah, you got to separate. Exactly. You got to stand out.
Yeah,
you know,
and another thing that we realize is like, say for example, podcasting is not that saturated because one thing is like the value, right? Media is definitely a huge thing, right? No matter what you're doing, how you're doing it, and we're not going to talk too much about this, but just to raise an example, if you look at Donald Trump for his campaign, he went on different podcasts.
Really?
He went on a lot of different podcasts. He went
Joe Rogan.
Yeah. Same thing for Kamala. She didn't do as much, but you know, she went on different podcasts like Shannon Sharp. She went on Shannon Sharp. She went on different, you know, platforms. I think I forgot the other lady's name, but she's going on different podcasts. So podcasting is not only just, you know, you just talking, but also providing value, you know.
Is this the way of the future? You think podcast is going to take over?
So.
I believe
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah. It's going to be the new TV. It's the new TV.
I look at it like this too, because I'm seeing the trend. I'm seeing how the world in general is just pivoting in terms of where people are getting their information from.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they're moving away from mainstream media like CNN and things like that. It's starting to go more so online. And this past election really showed that. So, you know, you never know. I feel like it is a lot of things changing and pivoting, you know. So yeah, I see that. I see that coming in the future.
Should we be doing a training then?
Absolutely.
I'm just asking. I mean, you guys are giving me ideas, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Is this something that we should be training young people on?
This is definitely something.
I think so.
I'm even thinking like, you know, even though TikTok is about to get banned, when you open TikTok, it's certain content creators who run the whole algorithm on that thing. And it's scary because it's like hundreds of millions of people on that. Like one of the people who, to get back to Donald Trump, that he got on his platform, like he's literally in the TikTok algorithm getting hundreds of millions of views every single day. So a lot of people don't know, like that's impact. Like although he does clown stuff, you know, he still has a big audience. So the fact that a whole presidential candidate is getting on a platform like that, it speaks on where the world is shifting. So, you know, it's scary to think, but that I feel like that's where it's going, you know?
I would say it's the new wave, right?
Yeah.
Podcasting. But then everybody has to understand that, okay, legacy media with these millions and millions of dollars, they're going to pivot too.
Yeah.
It's not hard for them to pivot.
Sure.
Right. So they're going to pour all that money into streaming and everything like that. So, you know, we got to constantly, and people that have podcasts got to constantly, you know, upgrade themselves, constantly shift, constantly be creative.
Right.
Right. But you do have a point about legacy media being something that the news that people don't really trust nowadays. They trust individuals.
Oh, they don't trust the news anymore? No. Because Donald Trump said it's fake?
No.
I was like, what is this?
Before.
Because it's they all right, so from the other people's perspective, they think, all right, cool, when you get on, there's a teleprompter. You got to sit this way.
Oh, it's proper.
You got to sit that way.
Okay.
You know, you got to make sure everything is said the right way.
Okay.
When you're on a 3-hour podcast, it's almost hard to fluff or lie throughout a 3-hour conversation that's recorded.
Because
just like, all right, cool. Now you're really speaking truth. Oh, now I understand why he talks like this. Now I understand why he wants to do this, do that. Same thing with she. Now I understand why she wants to do this.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours of a conversation where it's not like a presidential debate where you have 60 seconds to answer and you better answer it the correct way.
Right.
Or they gonna use that one clip and just broadcast it across the whole, you know, internet. Right. So that's why media is definitely one of those things that we're taking advantage of. But I also wanted to kind of switch gears too, because one thing about our podcast is we have a lot of entrepreneurs and the small business owners. So I kind of wanted you guys to talk on, you know, some of the things that small business owners can take advantage of going into 2025 to make sure that, you know, they're in a better financial situation. They're in a better, you know, mindset, frame, you know, things that they can take advantage of when it comes to, you know, the city of New York, or even probably like, it might not just be the city of New York, but I'm pretty sure like different states and cities have similar, you know, programs like the New York.
Yeah. So everybody should know SBS, Small Business Services. That department, and everybody should know.
Is that like a nationwide thing?
No, city. It's a city agency.
Only New York?
Yes.
Okay.
They may have it on a federal level. I'm not 100% sure what's the federal level for small business services, but well, that is the federal level. Let me apologize. The federal and the city sometimes has similar agencies. However, SBS on the federal level, they were the ones giving out the loans, like during COVID and all that kind of stuff, right? But on the city level, the small business services, they do have some like micro loans and micro grants and things of that sort. They have tons of different resources for city agencies. But if anyone can go onto nyc.gov and you type in SBS or small businesses, and you'll see all the resources. You'll get plugged into their website. Okay.
How about like 4 more programs that you'll say that everybody's passing over that they need to stop and take advantage of, especially small business owners?
Yeah. That's all I need to mention.
MWBE.
Yeah.
Yes. Minority woman.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur.
Business.
Okay. I'm making sure, you know, because like I said, I'm new to this, so it's like so much programs to keep track of, you know, but that's the hot one right now.
MWBE.
And a lot of people
it's an application.
Yes, application. And a lot of people think because it's like minority women, like it's only for women.
Yeah.
You know, but it's for everybody.
Right.
You know, so that's the hot thing right now. And that's what the city's very focused on. And making sure we get a lot of those people participating in this program, because it opens you up to the opportunity to get some money and run your programs.
Yeah. Right. And I just want to piggyback off of that. When you become MWBE certified, so it's an application, it's a lengthy application, but you can contact SBS and they'll help you fill out the application, right? Yeah. So you fill out the MWBE application, you become, so it's minority and woman-owned businesses, right? Yeah, right. And the reason why this is such an important application, because prior to minorities and women, filling out this application, become certified as a business, most of the contracts for the city went to predominantly white males. And so right now we are living in a time where the mayor is pushing for more people who are MWBE certified. That means that you have checked, there's checks and balances. Once you become certified, you filled out the application, so they know you have a legit company. You now can get a contract with the city. Well, you can apply for a contract with the city, right? And the mayor is pushing for everyone in the city agencies, in all city agencies, to broaden their scope and to first at least see if a MWBE can be that that company that you utilize for services, any type of services, from plumbing to, consulting, lights, what so whatever kind of service you provide, as long as you filled out the application, you become certified, then you can also pitch to the city to see if someone can contract you. You list your services, you tell them what you can do, and then people are now we're moving to, I think 46% of contracts are going to minority and woman-owned businesses. This is monumental, never been done. Over $3 billion dollars have been now issued to minority-owned businesses and women-owned businesses. Big.
So people got to think about that.
Yeah.
Never before in my administration this has ever happened.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what I was mentioning too. I feel like the fact that you guys have your ears outside and are listening to the community, that's something that we haven't seen in these the last few mayors that was in office. So that's the good thing. And what you guys were mentioning with the MWBE, it also reminded me of somebody that we had on the podcast, Chastity. We interviewed her, and she was so passionate. Like, me and Cody left the interview like, this girl really got a crazy vision, and
it was crazy.
We was looking around, we like, and she was so passionate when she got on, and we just was like, yo, this is different. And we left, but we was just like, yo, we really hope everything goes well, because she had some crazy ideas that she wanted to bring out. She wanted to really help the youth.
Wow.
And then fast forward like a few months later, I see her write a whole paragraph online. Shout out to Chastity though. And she was just like, that she's making progress towards what she was, the visions that she wanted to. And then she tagged Josh. So I'm like, damn. I was like, yo, that's crazy. So I was like, Josh must have his ears out there. But then Cody had told me, he helped a little bit with the connection. So to see it happen, I was like, wow. Because her ideas was like so great, especially for young women, especially with the skills she has. A lot of them want to do hair. They want to do lashes. She, she took that risk and bet on herself to lease a building and do all of those things. So to see it like, come to fruition is amazing. And how did that come about, and like how did you guys help her with this?
So a couple of my people on my network knew her, and they introduced me to her, and from there we just started building a relationship. And that's the first thing that with anything, it's about building a relationship. I don't look to try to jump in, let's do business or anything, but I see certain people like Chastity, you guys, and a lot of other youth and young adults who are coming up and they want to get involved, right? And so I'm like, let me do my best to make sure everybody's recognized, because it's not just about me, it's about everybody, and I'm from, like I said, Flatbush. And we never heard of these opportunities. So I'm going to push and I'm going to work to make sure everybody's recognized, make sure everybody's tapped in. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I build those relationships. Because it's about being genuine, right? And I'm not just here just to get you connected, but I'm here to work with you and build with you. So that's how that came about. And she's a rock star, and
we're about to do an event with her.
Exactly.
Wow.
In January.
Nice.
Yeah. And so you brought that up, and I want to say that resources are available, right? You know, and if you have an idea and there's something that you want to do, as I mentioned before, we can put, you know, fuel behind it if you're serious. Just like you said, you know, Chastity came to you and you saw her passion, you saw her drive. She had these ideas, but she needed to actually get things done. All right, so let's help her get it done. Do you see what I'm saying? And so it's all of those kind of things. Like, you may have an idea, but you need help. No man can do anything by themselves. No man is an island, right? And so even the way we run our companies and all the things that we do it together. We do it as a unit, right? Because my skill set plus your skill set, your skill set, your skill set. Now we're talking about, you know, synergy here. That's right. The power is building here. You know what I mean? You know, now you become a tornado. You understand what I'm saying? Before you were just like rain, you know, like, you know, your little droplets. That's cute. But, you know, when you connect with the right person, and it is about connecting with the right people, you know, it makes a big difference, right? And like Josh said, it's through conversation you realize, okay, well, is this the person that I really want to connect with? Is this, you know, but I love the idea of young people getting to know each other and build from there, because there was a time where I felt like I didn't know if there was hope for y'all. I want to be
really?
honest. Yes. You know, the Facebook thugs, like, you know, those kind of things were like weird for me. I was just like, back in the day, you know, it was like, you had a problem. You got to that person. You didn't. Oh, you know, no, you texting that. You know what I mean? That was weird. That was different. You know, I just want to say that out loud. You know, I want to throw that out there, but I'm happy. You guys you stepping past that. You're making friends again. Like, you know, like you're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You know, you're not using the computer as a shield, because at one point the internet was your shield, as how I saw it. At least I'm an outsider, right? You know, I'm generation, I don't remember what, but I'm not your generation. But the whole point is,
they call us X, I think.
I don't know. I'm 41. I'll be 42. What is that?
I think that's baby boomers.
No, you're
that's
messing with me.
different.
Baby
No,
boomers
I'm sorry.
like in above. I said 41.
I don't know.
I don't know what comes after
X
baby
or Y?
boomer. Maybe I
X
don't
or
know.
Y? I don't know. You gotta search it up. I don't know.
They say we're in the millennials.
I think I'm Gen Z. I think I'm
I think it's millennials,
Gen
right?
Z. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but see, that's the problem.
But they say
Too
after
much.
Z it gets scary because there's no other alphabet.
I know. I'm not going to go into like alpha, kappa, something. I don't know. It's going to be some crazy stuff. But the whole point is that I see now young people not being afraid to take those steps and take the initiative to say hello, you know, and that's important. You have to learn how to utilize your God-given skills, like the things that you have innately. You know, don't just sit behind the computer. Don't sit behind the phone and texting. You have to step out. You have to go out there. That's like you said. Chastity was like, listen, I'm going to put myself out there. Josh said, he came from behind the screen and went down and met the mayor. He had to put himself out there. You can say all that you want about all that you're trying to do. And if it's just living here, then it's not really living. It's just something, it's just a thought that's replaying in your head, but it's not alive.
Right.
And so I think it's important for young people to be able to understand that motion. You got to move. You got to get out. You have to really put yourself out there in order to really see your success or for success to come to life, you know, in that kind of way. And just going back to what you were just saying, it's not just the city that's giving back, right? I'm talking about there's so many different corporations that are now giving back. You know, for instance, Goldman Sachs just gave out so much money to small businesses, so much money. There was, of course, an application process, but money going out to nonprofit organizations. All you have to do is apply. You just have to apply. And so many companies now, they have a social responsibility department. So a social responsibility means that they're being responsible for how they impact the community. Or they may call it social impact, social responsibility, things of that sort, because it's not just about making your millions and holding on to it. No, Chase is responsible for what happens in the city. Goldman Sachs is responsible for what happens in the city. It's not just the city agencies. And so we've had the opportunity to work collaboratively with a lot of these different companies and a lot of these corporations to say, hey, they want to give back. Because this is a new era. You know, even people who are working in these companies, they want to give back. They're volunteering, and volunteering is up. I want you guys to know that volunteering is up. People are giving back their time more than ever before because they realize the community, we need each other. Bottom line, that's what this is. So the more we give as a community, that's why I love community. I love community. But we have to learn how to build together more. I'm talking about us as a community, you know, but you know, other communities have been building for a long time, collectively, more collectively. Right. But we're at a stage, I think, that we're seeing it and we're implementing it. We're applying it at a rate that we weren't doing before.
I realize people are more open-minded nowadays. Yes. They're definitely more open-minded compared to before. So like that's one thing I would say for sure. You know, even my mom's just talking about like she wants her business, you know, she want to hire people.
So I'm talking about mom, I'm gonna clap it up for her. You know, there's the baby boomer age. Yeah, mom's saying, she's coming in the fold. You know, we can't miss that.
Because one thing she's starting to realize is like, all right, cool, I'm doing this, but imagine if I had employees, because she has like a cleaning business where she does like. But I'm trying to get her to understand that, Ma, you don't have to be the person that's cleaning. There's contracts out there that you can take advantage of. You can get a contract with certain buildings. Like she does like a lot of she does like homes, residential homes, like more like residential homes.
Fair
like,
enough.
Yeah, so I'm like.
But she wants to build. She can go to corporations, but she will need support for that because the office may have, 15 rooms. Yeah, that's going to be extensive.
So that's what I'm trying to get her to understand. But the message is really getting out there, that people can actually take advantage of certain programs. They can take advantage of government contracts. Yes. Government contract is a huge thing because a lot of times they have to get this money out. And if you don't get the money out, I'm sure you guys probably know, they might not get money again. So they're putting their work in, but we got to come out and find it, So I do have one question. What's like some of the ways that small business owners can get funded, like even the mom and pop shops or even the startup businesses? Like how can they get funded for their business?
No, but as I mentioned to you before, you sit literally, if they look up small business services, I think people should just start there.
Okay.
You start with SBS because that's one agency, right? But you can also, I would say, like, Google different corporations because the corporations, I'm going to go back to Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs just had a program for small businesses where they took 10,000, they're up to 10,000, something like that. It's like, I forgot the name of the program, but look up 10,000 Goldman Sachs and see what comes up on the internet. But they have made a commitment to invest in small businesses all across the United States. So it's not even just happening here in New York, but in New York, my cousin just did the program. So I'm telling you, it's legit. And they provide you resources. They're giving you all the tools, everything. You get a certificate after you finish, and then you're connected with people, like-minded individuals, just like you, who want to build their company. They give them, they're connecting them with the right people. And so it's, I'm talking about like people that can help them, not just the people on their level, but they're connecting them with folks like from legal help to whatever the case may be, but building their companies the way that it needs to be built. Because like we spoke about, you may have a great idea for a company, but if you don't know what resources you need for your specific company, that's how businesses are failing, right? Because they miss the mark on the small little nuances. And there are nonprofits out there that also help. So you have even a lot of nonprofit organizations. That's the one thing about New York City. The great part about us is that, yes, we have government that governs us, but then we have the nonprofits that fill in the gap where things are missing. And so you have your corporations, government, and nonprofit organizations.
Community-based organizations.
The community-based organizations. Those are the nonprofits. People should reach all three of them. So we already know I gave you the information for government. That's SBS, right? But then, like I said, you have corporations. If you go on any corporation's website, Verizon, Target, everyone has a social responsibility department. Yes. And you look that up and you see what they're offering. They may offer stuff for small businesses, but they may offer stuff as well for nonprofits, but you just have to go and do your research. So that would be my advice. And then you have nonprofit organizations that help small businesses and help other nonprofits build from where they are. So it's really up to you.
Yeah. And it depends.
No, you can go, Josh.
No, I was just saying that, it also depends, like, what your business is doing, right? Like, so for example, Chastity, she's teaching young girls how to do hair. Right? So she's contracting with different youth departments, and doing business with them, right? Doing business with them. So podcasting, you want to teach kids how to do podcasting, how to set up the equipment and everything like that, DOE or DYCD. Right. And then another way you guys can get connected is go out to some of the events that they're having, right? And meet the people that actually work there, and that can lead you in the right direction, like how Tiffany is doing right now. You know, so and building those relationships. Right.
Yeah, definitely. That right there is super important. That's a lot of gems and information you gave out, because a lot of people, unfortunately, like especially in our community, like we never really, I don't know if it's that we don't hear the information or we just don't really like care, but then it's like a lot of people want to be business owners, they want to start businesses, but they don't take advantage of these opportunities that you mentioned, you know. But other communities, they hear about it and they're on it, you know. So I feel like, you know,
I think it has to do a lot with the culture. Right? Like we grew up on hip hop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're talking about, like Jay-Z's talking about business and entrepreneurship and credit, but is he giving a direct, you know, like in his music that everybody's going to play it on repeat? Is he giving a direct link to the website or saying what Tiffany's saying? You know, and that's some of the things that, you know, we got to start paying attention to. More. So he's saying these things, but we have to dive deeper. Right. And go to the source. Right.
Okay. I also want to add there are a lot of competitions that small businesses can enter as well. Even like they have stuff for restaurants specifically. And I think the library, New York City Public Library has a competition for different businesses in order for them to be able to, I think you can win $10,000 or $25,000 or something like that. But they want to see your business plan. They're business plan competitions. Because a lot, so even when I was saying before, for you to become minority owned certified, once you complete the application, if you dedicate the time to the application is serious. So if you dedicate the time to application and then you become certified, now people can trust you. Does that make sense? So it's the same thing like with the business plans. They want to see, are you projecting? What's your projection? We were talking about that, right? Can you talk about the difference between what you currently have and where you see yourself 3 years from now? What's your plan for year 1, year 2, year 3? You have to have a 3-year plan. That's a part of your business plan. So all of those different things. People think just starting a business is just an idea. No, take the time. You have to research. You have to see who your competition is.
The LLC is that's and one thing I realized from disqualifies people from taking advantage of business opportunities is not having the LLC. Like that's prime. You know what I mean? Like that's first step. If you have an idea and you have the business and they're only lending to business owners, well, I'm a sole prop. This is where you got to start. You got to get your LLC. You got to take advantage of those things. Like even with the SBA, they help you out to create a business plan. You know, so a lot, just people don't even know what the SBA is, and I understand, but still you got to go out there and do the research.
Because everything is at our fingertips. You Google everything else. You know, what's the weather going to be? That Google, you Google that, you know, like how can I get resources for my business? And I guarantee tons of stuff will pop up. But like I said, NYC.gov, you go onto NYC.gov and you just type in small businesses, resources will pop up.
And you gotta it has to be built into the culture.
This
is what we gotta keep talking about, you know. And just like, you know, you guys heard Money Man, right? You know, he talks about the certain LLC,
you got a certain
credit
LLC.
And everything like that, and he's, you know, putting it out there more into the music and making it sound good. So now when somebody's like, yo, I want to start a business, what's the first thing to come to mind? LLC. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we got to do. Build more of these services and these competitions and all these stuff that's going on into the culture, into the music, into the TikToks, into the YouTube content. You got to start putting that out there and blending it together, because it's about, valuetainment or edutainment.
Edutainment.
Oh, you know what I also want to say? If y'all know TikTok is going down, what's going to be the next thing? I'm just saying, there's a spot open. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing opportunity.
Somebody got creative.
Yeah, that's true. I
just
feel
think
like it's going to drive the traffic back to Instagram. Man.
Yeah, that's what I
You
was going
think
to say.
so?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's going to drive the
So
traffic.
Meta
back
is going to
Instagram.
take over?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just asking. I
I did want to ask y'all, especially like, you know, coming out of New York, like we have a lot of people who, you know, like we got a lot of people who are really creative,
Absolutely.
you know, really, really creative. And, you know, like I said, Chastity, you know, had a good idea, but we also have people who came out the city, you know, like Kai Cenat, you know, big streamer right now on top of the world. How could you guys get involved with like, because a lot of times you got to make the message, like I know you guys could go walk up to schools, talk on the stage, but it might not resonate with people. So a lot of times you got to bring those type of people so people could just, you know, listen, even sometimes the artists.
Yeah.
So are you guys focused on like collaborating with different, you know, people from the city who are now big on the internet or on the come up, like artists to help get the message out there?
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. A lot of, and mind you, this is like probably, it's probably the first time or like the time where a lot of more people is getting involved now.
Yeah.
You know, ever since I stepped in, because everybody's open-minded now.
Yeah.
Right. And everybody's like, how do we all work together? Right. And, you know, I think the first thing is like, we all like from the trenches.
Yeah.
Or we all from the hood. Like, or the hood is probably 2 blocks down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Not far away.
And not far away. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta like, you know, to get to school, you gotta go through them blocks, or to get back home, gotta go through them blocks, or you gotta go through another back block, and that, you know, that block is known for, you know, shots going off and everything like that. But it's just like, my point is that everybody, that these artists, Kai Cenat, you know, I believe he grew up in the projects or whatever.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's like, sometimes I would say the hood, the trenches, they got a lot of more connections.
They do.
You know, and when you resonate with them on that level of, you know, coming up, right, and it was hard, you know, and that would really hit home for them. Right. So I'm not going up to them like in no suit, like, yo, I'm in government, let's work. Nah, I'm chilling, you know, I'm relaxed. Like I came today in my Nike sweatsuit, you know, and just relax sometimes, because you don't gotta be on point. I mean, you gotta be on point all the time, but you gotta know that
meet people where they are, just like what you said.
We all came from the same place.
Nobody's better than anyone.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's, you know, and there's certain lingo and certain things, you know, that they like, oh yeah, we all from the hood. And so when they see you, they might think like, oh nah, this guy went to college and he got his master's, his PhD, and it's like, nah, bro.
Yeah.
Dealing with that.
That's
so
a part of
it's
you.
a part of
back
you,
to the multifaceted.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it's not all
exactly.
of you.
That's not all of you.
But I can also say Josh is doing his second year. The second year he's running the second event. What's the event coming up?
Hip Hop Holiday, right? So, you know, that event is really a collaboration between artists, fashion icons, streamers, and everything like that. Entertainment in general, they're gonna be there, right? And it's really because a lot of people, like Tiffany was saying, wants to give back.
Yeah.
And some people were giving back on their own. Some people was giving out turkeys. You know what I'm saying? Which I think that we gotta, I like the turkey give backs, but I feel like we could do more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, why don't we just all bring this together? Because we all trying to make, you know, a positive impact.
So Kai can contact him.
Yeah, Kai can contact me.
What's your Instagram?
Josh D NYC. So we could
work. Community liaison.
let's. And so we all came together, and we had a blast. It was over probably about 300 youth and young adults. The line was wrapped around the block. A Boogie, Lola Brooke, Michael Rainey Jr., Commissioner Keith Howard of DYCD was there.
And that was last year.
That was last year. Roxanne.
Who you have coming in
I
this
was
year?
looking this year.
I gotta wait for that. You see,
Yeah. He's not saying. Gotta come through.
Yeah, we can't say that.
Well, maybe Kai might be there.
Who knows?
Wait, want it?
Are you coming?
Come?
Are y'all on the agenda?
Absolutely.
Definitely. Now that I know,
It's
When
next
is it?
Friday,
The
right?
20th?
Yes, next Friday. See, if we would have had something where set up where y'all had your own little space where y'all could do quick 5-minute interviews,
Yeah.
that'd have been fire.
You
You know what
can
I'm
still
saying?
ask.
We can still ask.
I mean, it's a little late, but we can see.
It's a little late,
Wait,
but that'd be fire.
You can set something up.
That'd be fire. You know what I'm saying? Like you have your little motion sign, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And everybody come for 2-minute interview, quick, and then keep it going. But
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of people there, and I can't spill the beans, but it's going to be an amazing event. That last year's event went viral all over Instagram, and everybody's like, "Yo, I want to be there." But the most important thing, like I keep saying, it takes a team.
Yeah.
Right? It takes a team of people, and working with people that know how to work with other people, and great collaboration and understanding each other, right? And building those relationships to understand how this person operates, how that person operates. Okay, now let's throw it in one big pot, cook it up, and now we got some good food. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what it's about. But it's going to be this year. It's going to be even crazier. It's going to be even crazier, and that's I had the vision, right? I had the idea, and still needed people to execute with, right? So I keep going back to relationships, getting on a phone call, and you want to be a part of it. Let's do it. Let's work, and then putting it together, and then there's the final product. So
And and Josh mentioned Commissioner Keith Howard, and I have to say that he's been a great partner.
Wow.
When I say that he's open to hearing what young people have to say, and he's been open to hearing what Josh even wants to do, and helping to provide the support to make it happen. The city's not perfect.
Yeah.
But I can say we're in a time where we are open to working in a different type of way, on a different level, not how we've done it years past. And so with that being said, you all were asking, well, what do you see that we need to do? We're keeping some of our programs, like SYP isn't going anywhere, right? Yeah, because some of you, that's, I did some of you that, you know what I mean? Like it helps, you know what I mean? But, we're trying to build. So from where some of you started with like 10,000 kids or 5,000 kids, I don't remember what number it started with, to now we're over 100,000 young people who are participating in Summer Youth annually. Do you know how much money the city is feeding back into the city?
That's
right. So the city is its own nucleus, and we try our best to give back to the best way that we possibly can. But a big part of why we're here today is because we want young people to know that people are out here to help you.
Yes.
As I mentioned, you have the city organizations and the agencies, but you have the nonprofit organizations. You have corporations.
Right.
Folks are here saying we want to ensure that our city, New York City, remains the greatest city on the planet, and it really is. You can go to other states, you can go anywhere else. It's not going to be the same.
Ain't gonna be no motion.
No, it's not going to be the same. You could try all you want, and New York is hard to live in. But guess what happened? We're trying to make it easier, right? And that's going to take time because our culture is not, the jungle, the concrete jungle is real, right? And that's been the culture. But I think what has been shifting and changing is the fact that people want to do more in a different way. And we're still figuring out those nuances and what that different really looks like. But the great part about it is that we're doing it. We're taking steps towards that. So different may look like Josh. And that works for us. You understand what I'm saying? Different may sound like Josh, and that works for us. But what I love too is that Josh is also opening to seeing what our side looks like as well. So he's open to also being different. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, and that's where I was speaking about bringing these different nuances together. That's where synergy happens. That's where we can begin to build.
So where do you guys see some of you guys' visions, like what you're doing today, changing what happens in the next 10 years? Like, where do you guys see that? Like, how do you see the decisions you guys made today, the events that you guys decided to have today, the relationships that you guys decided to build today, how you think is going to affect how people do things in the next 10 years? Like,
I can start workforce development. I mean, like all that we're doing now and opening young people's eyes up to career exploration and what does that look like, to let them know that they have the resources and opportunity and they can do more and how they do stuff. It's less young people bumming it on the sofa, not going outside, not doing anything because they feel like they don't have anything to contribute. We have, we had a lot of people that just thought to themselves, like, listen, I can't do X like this person, so I'll do nothing at all.
Right.
I think people are realizing everyone can do something. You just have to figure out what your something is.
Yeah.
And that's where the culture shift is happening. And that's where all the changes, and that's what, that's what I was, alluding to before, is that yes, right now, yes, things are hard. We live in a concrete jungle, yes, but think about all the additional programs that have been instituted. The fact that now 46% of contracts are going to minority-owned businesses. The fact that over 80% of young people are now connected more. Right. More young people are now connected to the resources that's been there,
Right.
but they just didn't have access to it before, because now if 80% more, that means they're going to bring a friend.
Yeah.
That's always key. Tell a friend, you know what I mean? And so they're going to bring a friend, and now their friend is going to come into the fold. So we're now going to see a shift. I believe we're going to begin to see a shift in how our community even operates with one another, and how we're going to decide to move forward. It's not going to be same old. Like, oh, I don't know. Y'all know the culture in our community. You know what I mean? Sometimes it can be a little negative.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, and it's not everyone, right? Because like you went to programs, I went to programs, right? And, and that helped us along the way. But there is another portion of the community that thinks that you have to just stay here and settle. When we live in New York City, the world is our oyster. Being able to survive here, let me tell you something. There's nothing like it.
You got bragging rights.
Man,
People like, yo, if you could drive in New York, you can drive anywhere else.
Exactly.
If you could
And
live
that's
in
the
New York,
truth.
you can live in anywhere
Exactly.
else.
That's not even like made up. It's not a
Yeah,
made up
that's
story.
true.
I want y'all to
Stuff.
know.
It's definitely true stuff.
Okay? Because
Absolutely.
once you've made it here and you've put in some drive here, man, you can take that and build it anywhere you want.
Anywhere.
Like
Anywhere.
JC said, he's like, put me anywhere on God's green earth.
Yeah.
I triple my work.
Yeah.
You know?
And he's not lying.
He's not lying. You
Yeah.
know, and I think, we got the most agencies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the most
Over
agencies.
60 to 100. I don't even know how many city
Yeah.
agencies there are, because I mean we're agencyed out.
Yeah.
And they could create more too.
There's definitely a lot.
We got
for
the
sure.
most agencies, and we got the most millionaires and billionaires in the world. New
That
York
was
City
here.
is the economic engine
Yes.
of the country.
Yeah.
And everybody has to start understanding. Everybody that lives here has to understand that, and wake up to that and understand that there's so many opportunities, right? And like for me, for example, you see an opportunity, you go. But I'm gonna let Tiffany finish it on what you were saying.
No, I was thinking the same thing. I was
Yeah.
just thinking like, even like some, there's another bank. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called Marquis or something. I can't even remember. But they partnered with Columbia University, and they're taking young people in elementary school to teach them about, finances and how to work in the finance industry. There's so many programs, so many resources. If people just open their eyes up, you know what I mean? And just being able to understand that would make a world of a difference, just for them to be able to see and know, let's build.
Right.
And here's our opportunity. We're living in a great time.
Absolutely.
Things are hard,
Yeah.
but New York is still thriving more than many places.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of the situation, you know? And I tell people I work in government as well as I work on a nonprofit level, and I continue to work in community because that's how we close the gap. Literally. That's how we make things happen. And it's about people working together just constantly.
Right.
Yep.
How about you, Josh? Where you see this in the next 10 years? Decisions you're making now.
Yeah, man. You know, I didn't know this would be a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But I always somehow wanted to help people.
Yeah.
You know, and I always wanted to be the best version of myself, right? So people could understand that they can do it too, right? And so I would say just having more of these initiatives and these events, just so more people could know about what's going on out there.
Right.
Right. Like Hip Hop Holiday, this is the second year.
That's the name of it?
Yeah. Hip Hop Holiday. Yeah. Because it's the second year, you know. And
that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah, it's a great accomplishment, yes.
Yeah, TV's
all
messing
right.
up, y'all. We over here trying to fix. You got to
You know when you're doing something good, you know something that's trying to distract you from doing the good. Don't worry about that. We already know we are motion and success. You know, like it's already happening.
Exactly.
It's happening.
Yeah, we still got to keep pushing though.
Yeah.
That's a fact. You know, no matter what, stay focused, no distractions, and grind. You know, that's what the man says all the time. And you know,
because people will try to distract you.
Yeah, they will try to distract you and make a lot of noise. You know, another thing that he says is block out the noise.
Yeah,
you know, because the more you focus, is the more you get things done. Yeah, and so you know, making sure that these events live on. You know, I see and I hear what Tiffany has going on. I think, how do I add to that? I see and I hear what the mayor has going on. And they call him the hip hop mayor. So I said, hip hop holiday.
That's it.
You know? And I'm like, adding value and providing value to the community. And just so we can get on that frequency of being in these rooms and understanding that we belong in these rooms.
Yeah. Giving space for the voices.
Yeah.
That are normally marginalized, normally aren't heard.
Yeah, for the voices.
Push to the side.
Yeah, push to the side.
And
but here's a platform.
Yeah, getting it done, right? Because we can speak about it, or we can even think about it, like Tiffany said, but you have to action on it, right? So those relationships that you're building, it has to be authentic, right? It can't be fugazi, it can't be fake. You know what I'm saying? It has to be real relationships that you have with these people. Right, and with everybody that you meet, and I think that's one of the great things that I want to continue pushing is like build relationships. Any room I invite you guys to, or anybody to, build relationships and be authentic. Right? How can we add to each other? How could we work together? Right? Or how can we even just spend some time together?
Yeah.
Right? It don't gotta be about business all the time. Right? We could build each other up. We could be like, yo, let's read this book for a month and see what our viewpoints are. And
because that's gonna help your business nonetheless. Once you're building self, you're building everything else. Exactly. And I like what Josh just said, just to piggyback on that, is that if you're given an opportunity to come into a space, now you have an opportunity, right, to actually do something with it. But when you get there, don't pretend to be somebody else. Be your authentic self, because he said a genuine relationship, and that's important. Be your authentic self, and don't overpromise things that aren't, that's not there. If you say you're going to do A, then follow through on A. Don't be like, oh, I'm gonna do A, B, C, D, E, and then people don't hear from you because you're also not overwhelmed by all the things you said. No need for that. That's not what this is about. It's like when I tell young people to network, there's a room of people, but to network, you only have to meet one person.
Just one.
Just one new person. I just want you to know that. That's what networking is. To say that you've met a new person. And then you can build that genuine, honest relationship at your own pace. You don't have to, you don't have to be someone you're not.
It's funny.
Take your time.
Yeah.
You don't gotta be someone you're not.
No.
And then you can also be open with that person that you build with, right? Depending on if you can trust them or not. But if you trust them, you can even, just open up even more and tell them about the things that you've been through. Because it sounds like, when you're talking about from, being from the hood and for where you're from, it's been very hard, and growing up, you see your friends die, people going to jail and everything like that. Things probably happen to you, who knows? But being open about it, because people have been through similar things that you've been through.
Yep.
Right.
Nice.
And that's where the connections really happen. Right?
Yeah.
And so make sure you turn your pain into purpose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But
I agree.
I think we definitely covered a lot, especially like programs that people can take advantage of, not only just regular people but entrepreneurs as well.
Yep.
The youth, and multiple different things, and not only that, but the mindset. You know what I mean?
It's a mindset.
Is there any final things that you guys probably want to share that needs to be said? Like, yo, listen.
Well, I want to say this. I mean, like, this was a wonderful conversation. So one, I applaud you too for doing
Thank
the
you.
work that you do. And I can say this, as a community organizer, I started a nonprofit organization called Redemption, and we had an event called Get Your Mind Right. And a big part of that, I had the opportunity to work with young people from 2003, and onward. And we worked with over 10,000 young people, just helping people to change their mindset.
That's the biggest thing.
It's key. Being open to learning new things and meeting new people and, and figuring it out. I'm not saying, again, I tell you that I always give two sides of it. You have to protect yourself in the process, because people will take your ideas or steal your this or steal. Take your time. That's why I said, even if you meet that one person and figure out that relationship, is that a relationship you want to continue? So that's why if you work at your own pace and you figure out, is this something that you want to continue doing? Then that's how you can grow and build from there. Because even in your growth process, you also have to know when to say no to a relationship.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I just want to put that out there, that life is still lifing, but how you life, you're in control of. Bottom line. And I think for us to remain open, because I started Redemption, but now I run a nonprofit organization called Stop Hiding. We have to come out of the hiding spots. Things are happening to people, but like you said, it may also be what's happening to me may be happening to you. And if we come together, then we can figure out how to make this better so it doesn't happen to this person.
Breaking bread and building bonds.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. The community, if we talk more and stop, saying, whispering and talking about, we don't talk about these things and we don't talk about that. That's what's keeping us divided.
Yeah.
But if we just continue to have these open conversations in these open spaces, I think that's going to help us to continue to build and grow. And we're doing it. We're breaking down barriers slowly but surely. I see it. Right?
Absolutely.
So I'm just asking young people to continue to do that. Come from behind the screen, step out, meet someone new, whether it's a peer or someone older, whatever case may be. And again, start slow. See if you can trust people, build relationships. But in order for you to build a genuine relationship with someone, you have to bring your authentic self to the conversation.
Absolutely.
Josh.
Yep, absolutely. I think we're, in a new age where technology and business is moving so fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, it's a lot of opportunity out here.
Yeah.
Right. And we got to seize the moment. And so I believe that a lot of young people are becoming more entrepreneurs, and they want to start their businesses. And, I just want to push that, right? Because we're not given a lot of these opportunities to get these grants. Meet this person that's going to get you connected to that to help your business, right? And I created, because MWBE, I created my own little thing, MYBE, minority youth, entrepreneurship and business.
Okay, nice.
And just pushing that narrative and making young people understand that now is your time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now is your time to start your business. You got ChatGPT that you have an idea, you can expand off of it. You got what else you got? I'm pretty sure you guys know. There's just so much tools and technology out there that they can take advantage of, and it helps them build what they want and become that entrepreneur and become that business man or woman.
Right.
You know, and you know, that's what our community needs more of, right? You look at so many other different communities and they got, you know, there are people owning the laundromats, owning the restaurants, owning the banks, you know, in their own small communities. And this is what I want to push more, you know, for your own community. And then, you know, also just to trade, you know, or also go into other communities, meet people. Don't be afraid to meet people, right? And you know, the number one thing is trust, right? And making sure you trust this person. And like Tiffany said, that relationship, do you want to continue that relationship or do you want to drop that relationship? You know what I'm saying? And just keep it going. Keep the mission first. Yeah. Right? The first thing that you wake up, you think about and you action on any idea that you have in your head. Right? Like I tend to watch a lot of CEOs, like the CEO of NVIDIA, right? He's like, all I think about is work. Right? That's the first thing he thinks about when he wakes up in the morning. And you have to learn to prioritize.
Thanks.
You know, you have to learn to, you know, say, these are the most important things to me. Let me work on these things. Let me work on my relationships. Let me work on my business. Let me work on my family. Right? And I believe that if you stay focused and prioritize and always keep an open mind and love everyone and work and pray.
Let's not forget that.
One of my and pray. Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is pray, practice, perform.
Oh, I like that.
Practice, perform.
You got to.
Triple P.
Triple P. Exactly. Yeah. And as long as you do that and stay focused, no distractions and grind, you're gonna be successful. And everybody around you is gonna reap the blessings also. Yeah. Because we're not just people that keep to ourselves, we're people that share.
Yeah. Now I definitely got to give y'all flowers because I mean it's a huge task even dealing, you know, with the youth of the city community. That's not an easy task at all. And then the fact you guys came in and actually broke it down, you know, it gave me a new perspective because sometimes I think like, yo, why isn't this done? Why isn't this being done? You know, it is still some loopholes, but you guys are trying, you know, and are really bringing a lot of things, you know, or executing on a lot of things. So definitely got to give you guys your flowers because it's not easy. It's not easy, bro.
Absolutely not.
You know, you guys came, broke it down, told us most of the things you know you got going on, you plan on doing. So that's great. That's the best breakdown I've seen. Like I usually, because I live in the city, but I don't really be paying attention to, you know, what's going on, but I know a lot of things can change. Yes. And sometimes I wonder like, yo, what's going on? What are they doing about this? What are they doing? Like, it's a lot of the kids on the street, you know, doing whatever, probably doing what they're not supposed to be doing, you know. So the fact you guys came and, you know, you explained the programs, different options for kids who want to be entrepreneurs, you know, that's great because it shows the city is in great hands. And, you know, I believe you guys are fit for the job. And, you know, I did want to ask though, like, how do you, because, you know, being that it is kind of a little political, is it like, let's say a different mayor comes in, like, is it a shift in that? Or do you guys like, how does it, like, how can you guys make this kind of be a long-term thing last? Like,
longevity.
So let me say this, right? Because I know Josh is new to government. So the shift can happen because the thing is, when a policy goes into place, right? The policy is in place for as long as people allow the policy to be in place. Unfortunately, that's the sad part about government. The part where they talk about politics, that's the tricky part. That's the part. Because that's so politics is if you break it down, it's really right now it can be sometimes it shifts, it becoming one-sided or what's the proper terminology for it? Marginalized, not even marginalized, polarized based on if I'm a Democrat or a Republican or independent or you know what I mean, based on the party. And then that just messes everything up because then a party will come in, you know, and try to just focus on just making things good for their quote unquote party and not making things good for the majority. And so when they lose sight of the majority and they're only focused on the party, that's where things shift. So unfortunately, can I say that all the way things are now is the way things are going to be forever? No. Wow. And I'm going to be, you know, I'm giving to y'all real, you know what I mean? I don't come in here trying to sugarcoat nothing. I'm here to give you as, you know, Josh said, now's the time. Seize the moment because this is the time.
I agree because also too, I was hearing a lot of changes, even that I don't know if it's going to be coming in New York, but even with the new president that's coming in office, it was like diversity and all these things, inclusion is about to go away. So
it's possible. We don't know yet until he gets here, right? So we're making a lot of speculations right now.
How would New York adjust to that?
New York
is so diversified.
It is. I mean, people are going to protest. You know how New York is. So first of all, no one's just going to let you do. That's not how New York operates, right? Just on a political standpoint, the reason why things get done in New York and how we can continue to be so diverse because all voices are heard, right? Y'all could get every young black man you want out in these streets, and your voice is going to be heard, right? The reason. So I just want you all to know that New York. It would be hard to shift things here, but not impossible.
Right.
So I just want to let you know because there's always a way around. Right. And once people figure out the way around, then it can be implemented. Right. But I think what's important is that once the fact that the opportunity is here now and you take advantage of it, people can't take away something that you've already learned. So once you learn it and you're exposed to it and now you have an idea about it, the reason why they put things in books before, right? And they didn't want us to read because once you get it in here, once you have access to knowledge, people can't take away your knowledge. They can't take away your ability to do something. It's like once you learn how to ride a bike, somebody's going to take that from you? No, that's yours. That's yours to keep. Now you just have to apply it. So that's the whole point. Take advantage now. Take advantage of these opportunities so that you learn. You can make your mistakes now in this time, in this process. You can, figure it out because regardless of whatever happens, regardless of whoever comes into power, you will still be able to thrive. And I tell people all the time, we lived through Donald Trump once before. There's hope. You will live through him again. If you made it then, more than likely you're going to make it now because you already did it. So just be hopeful.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people get caught up in the presidential election that they don't really focus a lot on locally. Right? Focus on the local politics and local government because that is what directly affects you.
Literally. Like New York City has a city council. And so the city council, they're the ones that are pulling and bringing in the money and how the money is distributed into each of our communities. There's a representative. So you can go on to nyc.council.gov and you'll see where you fall, put in your zip code, and you can figure out who your city council person is. And you can go directly to them, write letters, call, email, if you want something done in your community. And Josh is exactly right because the city council is what runs New York City on the downstate level. So those are the things that are important.
And also, these opportunities are here now because of the people that represent us. Represent the city, like the mayor. And so if you want more of these opportunities, we all know what to do. Right. And because we got to show up, because many of these people that are in office, specifically Mayor Adams, he's fighting, for the collective. And He's fighting for working class people. You know, he has people like you know, so much people, you know, throughout the administration and so much people that just even have a passion for community, you know, like us, you know, going out there and doing the work even off the job, you know, and just doing it in our ways. You know, Tiffany has a nonprofit, you know, me, I'm, you know, just trying to get that information out there, coming on podcasts and like really trying to break it down so everybody understands government, everybody, you know, could build it a part of their knowledge.
Yeah. Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think politics runs the world, government runs the world. You know, I do have my own podcast, right? It's called Capital and Capital Gains.
Oh, that's fine.
But you know, it's a pause. I put a pause in it right now because you know the work comes first. You know? And I'm so passionate about the work. Like I said, I wake up every day and I think about the work. You know, and I continue to do the work day in and day out. But you know, just show up. I encourage everybody to show up and support the people that are giving you the most opportunities, right? You know, you'll see in schools there's a major shift. You know, people are getting a lot of these jobs like HVAC jobs, right? These green jobs. I think they have a new green program. And they're pushing all these engineering and you know, electrician jobs and everything like that. And so it's a whole shift, you know, coming, and then bringing, you know, like Tiffany spoke about mindfulness, you know, breathing exercises into schools. So it's a huge shift that's taking place right now, and we need to understand that we're listening to you guys and we're working with you guys to make a better change. So if you want more of this, come out and support. You know, because I'm going to support you even if you don't support me. You know, just like that. But you know, because I believe, you know, like it says in the Bible, you know, treat your neighbors with respect. You know, and treat others as you would treat yourself. Right.
Gotta end on that note. That brother just quoted the Bible. You know what I'm saying? He's dropping knowledge from the good book. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's some good words. But definitely I want to say I appreciate both of you guys for coming in.
Sure.
You know, they say it's Friday the 13th. So.
Oh, I didn't realize it. See how that doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I just want you guys to know, like,
they say all kinds of things, but we hear, you know, and like you guys said, relationships, this was supposed to happen a while back, but you know, we're here now. You know what I mean? Relationships definitely does matter. You guys spoke and gave some great advice, great information. I'm definitely gonna tap in and learn this because this is gonna be able to help my business to offer more services, you know. So especially for the people that's in New York and might be outside of New York too. So this is definitely an impactful conversation. Go see you guys next Friday.
Definitely gonna show up.
Definitely gonna show up for sure. And how can the people get in contact with you guys if they have to get in contact with y'all?
So for me, like I said, my nonprofit is called Stop Hiding. And you can reach out to us at Stop Hiding. It's info@stophidinginc.org. As well as if you want any resources with the city, as I mentioned before, you check out nyc.gov and you can search anything, whether you want youth services, small business services, you know, any services, you know, you need food stamps. I don't care what it is. The resources are right there. It's a simple website, nyc.gov.
Yep.
Bottom line.
Exactly. Josh D NYC, you know, that's where you guys can go to my Instagram, DM me if you want to be a part of the movement. You know, DM me if you need help. You know, I'm here. And like Tiffany said, nyc.gov. You know, I think they're starting a new initiative now where you just type your information in the computer on nyc.gov and they show you what programs, all the programs that you'll be approved for.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So that just shows you the initiative that the city's taking charge, you know, and saying, you know, we got to get this information out there and provide it to everybody. So definitely NYC.gov and definitely Josh D NYC.
Nice.
He's the man with the plan, y'all.
Yes. This is a good one, bro.
Absolutely.
This is like the first time we actually had, people who are actually involved in, the city, the youth and things like that. So it was a little bit different.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But you guys came prepared, answered most of our questions, So it's good to hear that, the progress the city is making for sure.
Yeah.
We're excited about it.
Yeah.
And this is real. This is real. This is hard work. This is not like pretend stuff.
Right.
So, because like Josh said, he actually works in cybersecurity. that's his bread and butter. Like how you're a nurse, and then so everyone's, doing their thing, but then but then doing the extras, the additions that matter.
Yeah.
I'm telling you guys.
Right.
That's true.
Absolutely. But we have came to the end of another episode. Go ahead, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Especially if you're a small business owner. I know you're definitely jumping right now. So go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, share this with somebody else. Like they say, always bring a friend, tell somebody else about the podcast. Let them know this information because there is power in the numbers.
Yes.
Anything for you?
Nah, bro. I'm excited about, seeing the changes and seeing all the great things they got planned.
For sure.
So definitely y'all just like, comment, and subscribe, and definitely get in contact with Josh and Tiffany if you have any further more questions, so it's a good one, bro.
Absolutely. I think they're always good, But we definitely gonna end off right here. I see you guys on the next episode. Peace. All right, so here's a quick announcement before I have our guests introduce themselves. A lot of people that are watching this channel is more than likely small business owners, entrepreneurs, people that are looking to change their lives and make a lot of money for themselves. So now, one thing that I realize is there's stats out there proving that a lot of entrepreneurs and a lot of business owners fail because they have lack of capital. So what I decided to do was I thought it was only right that I start having free classes every single Monday on our YouTube channel on the Motion and Success page every single Monday at 7 p.m. live in direct, where you'd be able to have your questions answered live. And this is literally a breakdown showing you exactly of how you can get funding for your small business. So if you're looking for business credit cards, business loans, business lines of credit, any kinds of funding, this is the live that you want to tune into. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel and put it on your calendar. Every Monday at 7 p.m. we are going live showing you step by step about exactly how to get funding for your small business. See you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.